So let's get a report on how everybody's doing on these different assignments. I'm guessing you've worked on these things, but I just haven't seen reports from anybody about them. Or maybe you haven't had time. Maybe you're just so busy they're going well without them. Anybody using the tracker? Or have any questions about it? Either of you using the tracker?
I'm tracking. I'm not completing it every week, but I'm getting better about like going in and putting check marks. So I couldn't say like what my stats are, but with me, if it's like I told you, it's on my desk, and if it's a reminder, and I actually the personal goals that I've set for myself, I'm doing.
So
I would say 80% of the time just to wing it, but
yeah.
The next step is actually faithfully doing the tracker daily.
I guess what really matters is, are you having the especially with this training?
Yeah, so I've actually started. I've always said, you know, I need to make the time for me. I need to make the time to do my yoga, to work in the garden. And I literally just sat down at the start of the 100 days, or right when I got back from Punta Cana, and I said, all right, I'm going to make myself just do whatever those things are for 30 minutes a day, rather than trying to, you know, do the whole garden in one day.
Right.
So I've just been doing little tiny 30 minutes of things a day, and, you know, I would say, yeah, 80 to 90% of the time I'm actually getting out into the yard, and I'm actually getting my workout done, which was unheard of for me.
Cool. And tell me how things are going with your business with asking questions. How is that? Is that changing anything?
It's something that, you know, I think I still need to improve upon, but I've made it the focus to really slow down and ask more. I see that I'm doing it more often. I was thinking about your assignment from last time, or from the one before. We were supposed to go out and like ask people directly for things that we wanted. I didn't make that a focus, but I've been doing that more often anyway in life. So I know like that's something that is powerful, and so just focusing on doing that more.
Mm-hmm.
Being a little bit, I don't know, it's odd. It's like more direct with people, but less direct with people. I guess less sarcastic.
Well, I think you have this vibrant personality where, like, I know people like me, it's fun, so I can ask for things and be sort of flippant, and I don't really care if people say no, but I'll get more yeses because I ask more questions.
Right.
I think that principle was ingrained in you, and I'm hoping that maybe some of these ways to ask questions when you really are going after business might be fine-tuning some of that. Do you feel like your sales are increasing at all by the questions you're asking at your classes, your spas?
I haven't consistently asked, so I'd like added those questions.
Mm-hmm.
Just out of sheer busyness, kind of rushing in and out of things. So like last night was 16 people. I was like, I'm not gonna put the pressure on myself to change up too much. But
what about when you're working with all your teachers? Were you able to ask them some questions to figure out what products they needed?
A little bit. That one it's like a 20-minute in and out, so there's really there's no personal time with each person, just very quick questions. But yeah, I mean, I think just making the habit of being better about asking questions, I think it's just naturally, it's making everything a little bit easier. Like I do see the value in it. I'm just like in the past week, I guess it's a blur. I can't think of specific things where I was like, okay, I'm deliberately going to use my new toolbox, and then what are my results? It's becoming a little bit more seamless, I think.
Good.
So, and this next coming couple weeks is not quite so rushed. I can actually sit down and evaluate myself afterwards instead of rushing on to the next thing.
Right. Right. I would challenge you to be like really consistent with, maybe you pick next 3-part, spas, next 5 spas, and use that 4-step system when you start your party with asking them questions, asking if you can share a story, then pinpoint people as you go through it, and talk about, you know, the needs that they said they had. Okay, this product might be the perfect fit for you. Blah,
Right.
blah, blah. The other thing is you'll know better what to follow up with them at the end when you're doing your one-on-ones to close their orders.
Yes.
So just, I mean, I know you do awesome sales and you're a powerhouse. You know, it's not that you're not successful. I just remember being the exact same place you were, though. And
Yeah.
having my sales double because I actually slowed down. And, you know, what definitely took the time to find out what people needed. And they didn't care if it took more time simply because they felt heard.
Right.
And, you know, they thought I was focused on them and it wasn't just they were there for me or to help the hostess out. So it was just a different feeling. And you're really good at involving people and pampering everyone. So I'm not saying anybody feels like that. It just,
There's that little bit more individual.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, I can definitely see that. And like I said, it's just been
yeah.
one of those, I was operating on like habit and instinct all weekend rather than being very deliberate about anything, which I mean is part of why I started doing this, is the need to be more deliberate and less just rush.
Well, it's not like your presentation sucks. You don't rush
Right.
to it. Everybody is pampered and well taken care of. And like I said, it just helps you find out what people need.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it's actually more about that. You're good at showing how you care about people, but sometimes, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah. So how about you, Janae? How's it going with asking questions at your parties or with hostesses, or were you able to create any of these calling sheets? Janae, you're muted, sweetie.
Sorry, my kids are being crazy, so I don't want to have that background noise.
No.
I have not had time to do the calling sheets, but with the questions, I'm really trying to make, you know, an effort to, you know, find out what it is that they like, because I don't want to direct them to, say, the maxi skirts if they don't like long skirts.
Right.
That is helping. My sales really aren't increasing, and I don't know if it's just, I don't know if they're walking in and they're totally overwhelmed by the selection, because there is so much. I don't know, but you know, it's the asking the questions helping me get more involved with them and getting to know them better, finding out what they like. So that's definitely helping. I'm able to help them find things that they will like. But
Cool.
so as for increasing sales, I haven't seen anything that way.
Okay. All right. And it's, you know, it is hard to know if we don't have a perfect testing system where the same people come in and we don't ask questions to see how it goes, and they come in and we do ask questions and see how it goes. So sometimes it's really hard to know. So how do you feel when your party's over? Is it any more, do you like, I know that sometimes your parties are draining and it's not as much as of a high for you. Are you feeling any more energized after, or are you feeling just as drained?
It depends on the party. Like,
I totally get that.
I had a good party. I mean, I had a party, what was it? I don't even know what day. Tuesday. And, you know, it was a good party, and I had good interaction with the guests and with the hostess, but it went long, and so that was draining. It was exhausting. She said she had somebody that would be there shortly after 8, and they didn't show up till 8:45, and it was supposed to be over at 8.
Right.
So, you know, that was kind of like, okay, because we were just sitting there waiting, and that's, anyway.
Yeah.
I definitely feel a little better, have felt a little better after the last couple, you know, not so drained, but I definitely feel the more I interact with them, you know, with the guests and everything, the better I feel at the end. So.
Well, I'm wondering, one little thought I have for you on your where you're getting better with talking to people and getting them to try on different things that they like, do they try it on or do they just look at it?
I really encourage them to try it on.
Okay. Does it usually happen 80-90% of the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually, if they'll try it on, then their friends, you know, they'll be like, oh, that's really cute, or yeah. And I try to make a big deal out of it.
Okay. So I'm wondering, do you know what upselling means? Are you familiar with the term upselling?
Yeah.
Okay. So one thought for you is maybe, let's say, don't you usually have specials if they buy 3 skirts, they get a discount?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one thought for you to try to increase your sales, when you've really paid attention to what they tried on, and let's say they're buying 2 skirts, is some sort of suggestion on upselling. Hey, I saw that you also like that one. Would you like to get that one basically for discount? Is that something you already do, or would you like to kind of challenge yourself and do that more?
Well, I need to challenge myself to do it a little more. People are kind of like, though lately they're like, well, I only get $5 off if I purchase 3. They're kind of like, you know. So, I don't know.
Is it $5 total or $5 per skirt?
Well, it's $5 total, and I don't know if I need to do. I don't know what to do.
No, you don't need to do more than that. I just was checking to know. You could, let's see. Wouldn't that be almost 20% off a skirt? I'm trying to figure out if there's another way to say it that makes it sound bigger than it is or something.
Yeah, it's probably about 20% off.
I'm doing math in my head.
No.
I have to think on that one.
Or how much are the skirts?
What's that?
How much are the skirts, like on average?
They start at 25 for women's and go up to 42.
$5 sounds reasonable. So it's $5 per skirt when you buy 3?
No, it's $5 off the order.
And
so what if I were to say you'd get $5 off your 3rd skirt?
Yeah.
Still the same discount, but it sounds like that 3rd skirt is a better deal.
Yeah. Your 3rd skirt is only this much money.
Yeah.
Or $5 off or something like that. Yeah, you can do something like that.
And is that your company's promo, or is that like your personal discount that you do?
It's my personal.
Okay.
She buys product, then she basically has control over how she prices it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
But yeah, she gets.
And I am at the low end of the. They kind of give us a window, you know. They say, well, we recommend you charge anywhere from here to here, and I am at the very low end of that spectrum.
So I find, just in business in general, from when I was in retail and when I was, doing this, I find that percentages make people happier than, say, $5. Because really, in the end, $5 is $5, and it might be a large margin cut for you on one of them, but $5 to me automatically goes, oh, $5.
Yeah.
How much is that, right? Could you reword it so you say you get 10% off your entire purchase when you buy 3, or does it end up being about similar to 10% off, or?
No.
Okay.
10% off would be
about $9, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking more like with the $20 skirts and stuff. So, I just find that percentages make people happier.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can play with that, and that's just from years of being in retail.
Yeah.
The one thought for you though, Janae, I have to admit, is that because you're trying to move a number of skirts to get your cruise, that you might have just 1 month where their third skirt is 30% off or something just because you've moved more skirts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she has to order 400 skirts per month for 4 months in a row to get her cruise.
Wow.
Is that what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter if she moves 400 skirts all at cost or she moves them and she makes money at the same time. Which
Right.
we want her to make money at the same time. But it's this window that she's working with.
And I know this is, well, and you can share it, you don't have to, but does your margin allow you to do a 30% on a third skirt? Because that, to me, that's something I would have written down on a sign. Like when I was at a store, if I'm at a booth or something, because that's a nice 30%. Ooh, and oddly, 30% and 40% do just as well as 50%. It's just that it's more than 20% off for whatever reason, because that tends to be the go-to discount, 10 or 20% off. So when you do anything over 10 or 20% off, you're beating every other business in your percentage. So if your margin allows you, I think that buy the third one and get 30% off, somebody might jump at that.
Because don't you mark them up about 40% from your cost? I'm trying to remember ish. It's between I know it's between like 30.
Yeah, it's probably
like 35.
It's probably about that. Depending on the skirt.
Right. I mean, I'm not trying to say you're not worth making money, because that's not what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But it just would move. It might move more skirts.
Yeah. No, and I think that would definitely be worth trying out. The 30% or whatever for on the third skirt. Yeah.
And I need some skirts.
I mean,
Send me your link.
Like I said, just simply because, and then making sure anyone who does buy two, that every single time you suggest, hey, I saw you try on the purple one. You want to get that one for 30% off. I'd have a sign and I'd have it that it's only for this limited time, so they know. Look, if I'm going to get a discount, it's got to be now.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just the thought, but I don't, just because at least you
that's
more skirts and do a few less parties maybe to get to your cruise goal.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, don't go broke doing it. Make sure that you at least break even. I mean, I hope it's above that.
No, I actually think that's doable. I'm just trying to figure out, now I'm trying to think, okay, how can I run that through Square to do that? Because Square, if I enter in 30% off, it takes it off the entire order.
Well, I would just have a little cheat sheet that this skirt at 30% off is this price. I just wouldn't put it in as a full price skirt. I would put it in as a discounted price. Plus, that won't mess up your taxes. I mean, you'll actually pay taxes on what they...
Oh, yeah. But I do everything through Square, and so everything is... I just have to scroll down and pick my discounts. Does that make sense?
Right. Well...
What if you did 10% off of all three, then, if that's your logistical problem? Instead of 30% off of one, you get 10% off of all three. That ends up being the same, basically. And then, because if that's how Square treats you, where it's like an all or nothing.
Yeah.
Well, but can't you enter in one item at a time?
Yes, you can enter in one item at a time, but the way the discounts work is it would take it off the entire...
I know, I'm just saying submit the skirt at the discounted price. Don't do the discount on Square. Do it before you enter it into Square. You'd have two skirts at $30 and one at $20.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is every skirt is already programmed in there with their price.
Well, I guess a third skirt in you just have to put in manually.
So I'm going to try to have to figure out how to do that. Because it's all done by SKUs and stuff. So.
At a place where I worked once when we had kind of a similar situation, we had what we call discount SKUs, and we just had a SKU for $20, a SKU for $25, a SKU for $30. So it wasn't attached to an inventory item, but it was a way to key in a reduced price item.
Yeah.
So you could just create some new SKUs on your Square system.
That's probably what I'll have to do.
At your price points. And maybe you lose $1 on one of them every once in a while, because but that's better than not being able to do it.
Yeah.
You're the bomb, Bethany.
Yeah, I'll have to sit down and figure those out. Okay. Yeah, I will definitely be trying that the next couple weeks.
I mean, anyway, just brainstorm. But whether you do the extra discount or not, I'd love to see you give the upselling a try. Mm-hmm. And always, whenever you can, mention a skirt that they put on that's not in their hands.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Something that they seem to be sitting on the fence about.
Mm-hmm.
Always make it about them and what they wanted. Or they may have brought up they had a daughter or granddaughter or something like that.
Yeah. And I have definitely started, so do you have any granddaughters that, whatever, because, I have a lot of ladies that come in there and they're looking for themselves, and I've got these girls' skirts that are sitting there, and actually, or their married daughters or whatever, so.
Right. Cool. Excellent. Awesome. Okay, fantastic. All right, so when you guys get a second, work on your calling sheets and email them to me. Let me see what I can do to help you with that. Did anybody have the time to go through the failing forward lesson? Looking at a situation you feel like you failed, but what you learned from. I have a feeling you both are so busy you didn't. It's totally fine. No problemo. Okay, sorry, I went for a bike ride this morning. I don't know if it's my allergies, but I'm sounding funky. Okay, so this is one of my favorite chapters. If you have the book, it's chapter 21. We're going to do finding outside the box solutions. We haven't talked about this before, right?
No.
I start forgetting who I have shared what stories with. I'm like, I got to get really organized and make sure I know who I've talked to who about. So this is one of my favorite stories I want to share with you. There's a thing that's once a year. It's called Summit of the World, and it's all about women's issues all over the world and different unique solutions that people found to solve the different issues going on. And there's this amazing story that just blew me away. That I wish I could have been a fly on the wall when they were going through this brainstorm. Hang on a second. Okay, not right now, okay? We'll play. And what happened was in Europe, they have these families that have migrated or immigrated from Middle Eastern countries. And they've lived there for quite a while. Sometimes they've, had children there, that kind of stuff. And they were finding that these families were now taking their daughters back to the Middle Eastern countries. These girls are totally westernized. They're wearing the regular clothes and going to school and all these different kinds of things. And they're taking their daughters back to the Middle Eastern countries and marrying them off in arranged marriages when they're only in their early teens, when they're only 13 or 14 years old, and in 13 or 14, 15 years old. And they're like, what are we going to do about this? So one of the countries that's concerned about this is England. And they're saying, oh my gosh, I don't know what we're going to do about this. This isn't, we don't want to see these girls go through this. They're here in our school systems. They're doing amazing things. We want them to have a future that we see is possible for them. We don't want them going back to Afghanistan and Iraq and different countries. So they're trying to figure out what to do. So then starts playing this audio recording of this young lady calling this helpline, this 1-800 number. So she calls this 1-800 number, and this is how the conversation goes. What had happened was this girl was given this business card that had a help number on it, and said if you feel like you might be being taken back to your Middle Eastern country and are going to be married off, then call this helpline and they'll help you. So the girl calls the helpline, and the audio recording starts, and you hear what's going on, and the girl kind of tells her that she's a little worried about what might happen in her future. And the gal on the other line starts to give her some instructions. And she says, first of all, what you're going to do is you're going to go into your kitchen in the silverware drawer and you're going to get a spoon. And I'm thinking, what the heck is she going to do with a spoon? I'm like just baffled. I'm like just perplexed. Because when I thought when she said go in the silverware drawer, she's going to say get a knife or something. She says, no, she tells her get a spoon. She says, then I need you to hide it somewhere in your room. And if a time comes when you feel like your parents are going to take you on an international flight, we need you to take the spoon and put it in your underwear. And at this point, I am like turning up the volume, wondering like, did I really hear this story? Am I hearing this correctly? And I'm completely dumbfounded. She says, and what's going to happen is when you go through security, if every piece of metal, jewelry, belt, whatnot, is removed, and still the metal detector keeps sensing that there's, something on your person that is triggering the metal detector, then that will be the signal that the security guard needs to take you aside to a private room and discuss with you your concerns. And I'm just like, who came up with this idea? I'm like, this is brilliant. Because I'm sure everybody's first reaction was, okay, let's start talking to parents. Let's educate them about how dumb this is. Take their girls back to a Middle Eastern country and marry them off at 15. And I think they probably knew that was not going to work real well. And so, it's like, hopefully that will happen one day, but it wasn't going to happen fast enough. And so they had to come up with a clever way to keep these girls safe and have them not sent off and put into arranged marriages. And so they've saved several girls doing this.
That's awesome.
I know. Can you imagine? And so it's like, I want to know who come up with this idea, because I just love brainstorming. So anyway, my thought always when I come upon a challenge is, what's the spoon in the underwear solution? Like, that's my little, like, I couldn't say that to anyone else because they look at me like, what the heck? But it's like in the back of my head, there's got to be a spoon in the underwear solution. And because, it's just so bizarre. But it's brilliant. And so one of the things that I found when I was doing businesses and doing this business even is I'll come up upon challenges, or even there's something I want to succeed at, and I'm like, okay, how can I do this? Or how can I meet more people? Or how can I take care of clients better? Or how can I make it more flexible for their time if we can't all be on the same time? What can we do? Which is why I spent an entire, 3 days watching videos on how to record YouTube videos, okay? So, how can I do this? What's my spoon in the underwear solution? So this is what I want to talk about today with you, is being really open to the fact that there might be really fun, creative solutions to challenges that come up, or even just a new goal that you've set for yourself or want to set for yourself. But sometimes we don't set goals because we're not quite sure we can do it, or we don't really have the solution to it. But make them and see what happens. Okay? So one of the things I want you to do is take a piece of paper and write on it a goal or a challenge that you're trying to overcome. And I have the words down here. Let's see what it says. I have a wonderfully perfect solution for blank. Put that down. Put a big piece of paper on the wall. And then for the next couple days, until you have that spark that you feel is the right thing to do, just write down every brainstorm you have about how to accomplish that. Okay? Because I can tell you over and over and over again, when I did these different businesses, I would have these weird sparks of inspiration come into my head and in my heart. And I have to tell you, I knew when they weren't mine. Because I'm smart and I read a lot, but sometimes they were things that I knew just were sent to me because they were based on my talents, and I was trying to be in tune to an idea. And I really feel like they're heaven sent a lot of times. And so there's a couple ways that sometimes you can get sparks of inspiration and kind of encourage those to come. So I know each of you love reading motivational books. So another way you can do it is find a book, a website, a blog, anything on someone who's doing something similar to what you're trying to accomplish. Okay? Find out how they did it. Then you take your talents and your strengths and tweak them based on that. Okay? Find people who have done similar things to what you want to do and figure out what worked for them. That is an amazing place to start. So if you're not already doing it now, one of the things that I really encourage you is that we've put daily motivation on your tracker, and I think all of you spend time, I don't know how consistent it is, but I know you both choose to read books that keep you motivated and inspired. But in a perfect world, I would encourage people to do two different things. One, they spend 10 to 15 minutes on, okay, so let's say it was weight loss. So maybe they were looking up healthy recipes or even reading inspirational stories of people who have accomplished what they wanted to do, success stories, okay? So, Janae, you could have a fun Pinterest blog on all the cute ways people wear skirts or on how people sell clothing, or, you know, Bethany has some really great ideas on marketing and those kind of things, okay? And then spend 10, 15 minutes just on inspirational, whatever your favorite inspirational book is that week, okay? That would be my perfect ideal for everybody. When I do those two things equally, I really get a lot accomplished. Because when my heart is open to trying new things that might put me out of my comfort zone a little bit, and then I get more sparks of inspiration for, you know, what I can try. So it's really fun when you put those two things together. The other thing about thinking outside the box solutions that is really important is, you know, and I love when people do this so effectively. I teach basic principles that I know a lot of these things are going to work for people, but because we're all different, first of all, we just come with different talents and we're all very different. The other thing is we face challenges. Sometimes they're similar, but because of our circumstances, you know, here we have two different situations. Janae has 7 kids, and Bethany has a stepson and cats, okay? So you both have totally different responsibilities outside your businesses. So even if it was exact same challenge, you both are coming in with totally different other lives behind it, okay? So allow those sparks to come to you and figure out what's going to work best based on your whole life situation, okay? And turn it over to God. The more I turn it over to God, but just work as hard and as effective as I can without a lot of worry, and just really like, okay, I know if I keep moving, somehow this will work out. Just keep moving, do the things you need to, and I'll get sidetracked or, you know, whatnot. And I go back and I, you know, review my goals or say a prayer or whatever you want to call it, and just keep turning it back over to Him. It's amazing the little things that come and the people you're supposed to meet. Or you'll find a book that you needed to find, or you'll run on. I can't believe, like, sometimes the weird websites I'll find that I'm like, how did I even come on this website? Get to here, you know, when you're just like looking through different things. You really will find amazing little solutions online, okay, or different places. So let me ask you, talking about this, I would bet, I'm not totally sure, that you may have had something pop in your head where you're just like, okay, there is this thing that I'm trying to figure out a solution for. Would either of you want to kind of talk that through a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, what's yours, Bethany?
Of course, you make me go first.
You said yes!
I know. Okay, so
go first if she wants.
What are my parameters again? Tell me what I'm...
Just anything either you want to start or something that you're feeling like the road is, you know, there's a bump in your road getting to where you want to be. Either way.
Okay. Oh gosh. More for me, it's personal. Business-wise, I'm kind of where there's nothing I want to start right now.
Okay.
I kind of want to perfect where I am, but like getting better with with Loki on involving him with things. Do you want to? I'll give you $5 if you help me do some stuff this afternoon, because he was complaining that he doesn't have enough money to buy whatever toy he wants, and his answer is, that's okay. Or hey, do you want to go do this fun thing? That's okay. And I end up quitting. I end up just not asking, and I end up not inviting, and I end up just not participating because I can't. It's like a brick wall. So.
This is your stepson, right?
Yeah.
One book that I really, really like is called Bringing Out the Best in Others.
Okay.
It's a short read, and it's a really fun book. What I like about it is it's kind of in story form, and it's a classroom setting, and they're all adults, and you have people that are in business, parents, teachers, different types of people that influence, and a parent. I think there's one that's just there as a parent. And they're all there to learn skills on how to better interact with people that they care about. And the parenting one, I still remember, like, the main message at the end of it was, go do what they like to do. I still remember just going, which isn't always, my son is like, come on, Mom, you got to come do the sprint triathlon with me. Why don't you do this with me? And I'm like, okay, I will be there with signs. I will be there with treats. I will be the loudest one there. Do not ask me to go running with you. I'm like, somebody put a bullet in my head. When I asked him for Mother's Day, we had this bike, and the tires were flat, and nobody had used it, and I knew it was still in decent shape had we just, put a little TLC into it. And when I said, Porter, what I really want, I said, I've been watching you bike, and I used to bike when I lived in Denmark. I really want that bike fixed up. Will you fix that for me for Mother's Day? Holy cow, it was like I gave him a gift. He was so excited. It's just silly, but it was a little connection because it was the same thing. So if I remember right, your stepson loves to play video games. It sucks, but
watch TV.
Yeah.
He just sits.
And maybe, how about we go make a treat together before we watch the show?
No, I'm not hungry.
Oh, jeez.
He literally sits. I don't know. Maybe it's the wrong thing to bring up.
No, it's not.
He's so lethargic and complacent, and he doesn't care about anything. He gets excited about nothing. So it's like, and if I sit there, it's not like we're sitting there together. He's just zoned. Like, I've tried sitting and watching TV and maybe having a little conversation while we're doing it. I don't know. I think he's ruined for life. I don't know how to fix it. But I'll read the book.
The other thing that popped into my head is, if you read Power of Positive Thinking, and I still actually need to apply this myself, so just to know a little bit about my own week.
Things we can apply at times and then have to reread the book.
Yeah, I know. So there's this story, and there's this gal, and she's married, and her husband, would go to work and come home, maybe he'd always go off and do his own thing. And she just wanted her husband to sit there and spend time with her. And so she was trying to figure out how to do this and how to convince him to stick around. And, I have two different kind of thoughts for you. First, okay, let me finish the story, then I'll tell you. So he says, all I want you to do, I want you to quit saying anything to him, and every day I just want you to visualize him doing what it is you wanted him to do. And so she did. So she started visualizing him staying home, sitting there by her, reading the paper, and just spending time with her. That's all she wanted. And so she started visualizing it and not saying anything else to him. And all of a sudden he did. Now, I don't know if that really works or not, but it was just an interesting story. The other thing is that we usually feel when people are irritated with us, and there's an example, and because this is recorded, I won't mention a name, but someone who's got on my nerves and called me out on it. And the thing is, one of the things you might want to do is start writing 5 things every day that you like about him to kind of change. I like that. It's really, you guys have such different personalities, you do anything not to be sitting still, that you're like, I can't relate to this kid. So if you can find some way to start seeing something positive in him, that maybe you'll have something to relate to.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. And do that especially before I interact with him. And
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. That's good advice.
Even when you come up with a couple, even you can write him a little note about one of them.
Okay.
So he sees that you do have confidence in him or appreciate, because he's like, anyway.
Yeah.
Just the thought, but
It's the same 5 every day. Is that okay?
It's easier said than done. Believe me, as a person, and it's not a client. It's a more interpersonal communicate.
That you do that for.
Not that I need to.
Oh.
But I'm kind of being resentful, and anyway, gotta get over myself.
That's fair. Okay. All right. So those are some good ideas.
So my other person was actually more open to suggestions I made the other day, just so you know. I'm like, I really should text Bethany and tell her something nice.
Yay! That's exciting.
Yeah, in fact, her whole team was freaking out about it. I mean, I kind of suspected that they did this, but found out they didn't. And when we were talking about meeting new people out and about, I'm like, no, you have to get their name and phone number. And they were like, oh! I mean, like, I had asked them to, like, give up $1 million or something. It was so, I was like, oh. And she's like, but guys, we're not getting, when we just hand out cards and don't get their name and number, we're not getting the results we want. We probably should try this.
Good.
Anyway, so I was like, okay. But
Yeah, that's not a probably should. That's a kind of have to in this industry. So.
I know. I was just like, you're handing out all these cards and not getting people's names and numbers. I'm like,
how's that going for you?
I'm thinking, how on earth have you not been told that before now? But I'm like, okay.
I just have to imagine that if that's the training they've got, they have no one in their upline who's doing it right.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just kind of like, why is this the slap upside of the head idea that is like totally freaking you out? I'm like,
that's interesting.
Anyway.
All right.
So, but I don't know if they'll actually try it, but she at least was telling her team, and she was saying, I'm terrified too, but maybe we should give this a try.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome. That's good results.
Yeah, we'll see what she does. So, Janae, what's your brainstorm you need to have? If you have one. Maybe everything's going really smoothly.
No, right now, my brainstorm, I've been going back and forth with my husband trying to figure out, I need to recruit at least one person for Beachbody so that I can start making money.
Okay.
And I'm running into roadblocks with that. I host these online challenge groups, and once people are totally on board to do it until they hear that they need to, make a purchase, and then they're like, okay, nope. And that's the way to get, typically you want the challengers to become coaches. And I can't even get anybody to do my challenge groups because they're not seeing the value of the products, and I don't know. I'm at a loss.
Okay. So, do you have a list of questions for them for both recruiting and both for the product that you're using?
I've come up with a couple, but I have not. No.
Would you like me to help you with that?
That would be awesome.
Okay. So send me what you have now. Okay. And the health ones that I've seen that are pretty effective are anything like, what would you do? Now, are you having are you having a hard time getting them to sign up and use the product?
Yeah, because they're totally on board to do my challenge groups. They want that help, they want that motivation. It's when it comes to actually putting the money to the, putting the investment into it.
Okay. Financially, not versus time they'll do, but money they won't.
Yeah, it's mainly the money because people are fine with the time. It's the money.
Okay. So there's a couple things that you can ask people that what we want to do, okay, just like what I do all the time with you guys, is, okay, what's your goal? What's going to be the payoff? okay, well, here's what you might have to invest. And, like my group the other day, you want me to get people's names and phone numbers when I give them an information card? Yeah, I do. And, that was a huge cost to get the perk, okay, for them. And we'll see if they figure out that it's not as much of a cost as they think it is in their head. It's actually kind of fun when you get going, but for them it was really hard at the moment. So what we need to do is get them excited enough that it's totally worth the cost. Okay. So some questions that I can help you with are things like, what do you want to get out? What would you do differently in your life when you have lost the weight? Okay. Tell me what are some health concerns you have that you want to improve? What are some of your physical goals? What do you want your life to look like 1 year from now, 10 years from now? How would you feel differently when you've lost this weight? How quickly would you like to lose it? Because I'd assume some of your challenges, if they keep doing the challenges consistent, eating less, exercising, they technically lose the weight. This is a tool that helps them lose it faster, right? Okay. So do you see how those questions are helpful?
Yes.
Okay. We really do, when it's this kind of product, it really does help to get some of them with some success stories, because then people start asking them what they're doing. Pretty easy to turn them into coaches from there.
Yes.
So do you have anyone that's on that path?
My husband.
Okay.
And I'm working towards it, but he's definitely seeing better results than I am.
Wow. Okay. It's a man. That sucks. It's not fair.
Yeah.
I'll have a thought on that one day. Okay, but he's not, it's got to be outside. You're already a coach. We need someone outside there. So maybe you want to just focus on getting some people having good results first. But I can definitely help you with recruiting questions too. Okay. The first thing I usually how to find out about a person is, 1, do they love the product? 2, is there any need for some income in their house, or do they at least want to pay off their own product? And then it's something about, there's something that they need inside, either the satisfaction of helping someone, or recognition is something they could use because they've changed, diaper number 500 and there wasn't, a sign and a ceremony with that. They could use someone celebrating them. There's usually like an internal thing where they could use some filling.
Mm-hmm.
When I could come up with those 3 needs, it was usually I could work through about 90% of the time. Bless you.
Excuse me. Sorry.
So recruiting, those are the things I have to find out, but sometimes it takes several questions to get them to answer those things and pull those things out of people. Some people are fine. They're like, no, I have tons of money and I'm fine and I just want to buy the product. It's never any place I'm going to go. And somebody you look at and they seem like they have plenty of money, but I still remember this story of this gal, and she'd been with Pampered Chef, but she was really big with the company and then retired and was just doing general training for all different companies. And she's like, I still remember asking everybody at a party if they wanted to, possibly look at the business opportunity. And this gal lived in this big $1 million home, and her life looked perfect on paper. And it got over, and I didn't say anything to her because I didn't figure she had any need for being a, Pampered Chef consultant. And the gal looked at her and says, do you not think I'll be good at this? And she's like, well, no, why? Why would you think that? She goes, well, I'm the only one you didn't ask. And looks like I'm probably going to be in the middle of divorce and need an income opportunity. So it's kind of interesting how, it's really important that we do give people opportunities without any sort of, because we are going to get lots of no's, that it's just like, hey, I totally understand. It's not for everybody, but just wanted to make sure that, you knew that it's something I wanted to offer to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, questions do help a lot to kind of pull those things out and see what might be going on in their life. So why don't you come up with some more questions just because you know your product better? Email those to me and I'll tell you if I have any tweaks or any additional ideas for you.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yep.
So you probably just need to take a little bit of time on the phone, one-on-one with people, find out their gut stuff, because there's some things people aren't going to share in a group. because we're all embarrassed when we're not as healthy as we want to be.
Yeah.
And, find out how you can best help them, and then offer them all the different ways that you're going to support them. You got to do the based on what you're telling me, because you want X, Y, Z. This is how what I have for you is going to help you get to your goals. And then you should close probably about 80% of the time. I mean, there's some who just probably can't afford it. I'm sure it's not technically cheap, but especially anyone that's on any sort of medication or eats out a lot, they can totally afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's something my mentor in the business always said, people tell you they can't afford anything, but then what phone are they holding? Like, are they holding an iPhone with their data package? You know what I mean? Like, people will tell you they don't have money, but they make money for other things. They go to McDonald's every week, or they,
Yeah.
and maybe if they're going to eat at McDonald's and places like that, if they're, replacing it with a healthy lifestyle, there's their money right there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and sometimes it is necessary to kind of play a little bit of hardball with them and kind of point out, hey, tell me about what medications you're on. How much would it save you in a month if you were off of those?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a gal I was talking to yesterday, and I could tell she really wanted to do my program, and she was having some, maybe it's too much money, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, and I said, okay, so let's break it down. Let's say it's $100 a month. It's 3 months, $300, $100 a month. Would that be covered in one party? She's like, yeah. I said, so if I helped you book one extra party a month, if that's all I did and that covered it, would it be worth it? And she was like, yeah. And I mean, I wasn't like rude about it. I wasn't, like, duh, come on, see, obviously it's worth it. But sometimes we have to kind of walk people through the obvious, and we just do it really kindly and show just lots of support and how much you want to help. And she knows she's going to book a lot more parties than one a month because of it now. But, I mean, it was nice to see her get it. And she knew she had her own training with her company, but she didn't have anyone following up with her consistently. She knew she had to call her leader if she was going to get consistent help. And anyway, but she's great. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, any other brainstorming you want to do, Janae? Does that help at all?
That helps.
Okay. Do you have people to look to in your company who are having success recruiting?
Yeah. Yeah. I look at them, though, and I'm like, okay, I really don't understand how you're doing this, because I am reaching out to people every day, and I'm getting, and I guess every no gets me closer to that yes, right? I don't know.
It does. One thing, though, tell me how your phone calls are going. When you're reaching out to people, tell me kind of how the phone call goes. How does it get started, and when do you start talking about it?
The thing is, most of it is really, it is done on Facebook. It's Facebook messaging, reaching out to those people that I haven't. I mean, that's how everybody is doing it. It's all done by Facebook messaging, and then once you get a little bit further, then they recommend the call. But it's all Facebook message. They're all doing it because people are seeing their changes, their transformations, and I mean, they're building huge businesses just by that.
I'm going to tell you, Ron, sometimes that's slightly inflated when they tell their stories. But I would recommend getting their phone numbers as soon as you feel like there's somewhat of a connection with them, so you can have more of a heart-to-heart. Because there's a lot of things that can be worded and said, and but you can still ask all those questions. To me, one of the mistakes, this is my opinion, okay, one of the mistakes is when we haven't found out a bunch of information about them to find out what their real why is and how this would benefit their life, and then we send them a bunch of information about the product. And I'll tell you, when I first started putting out there that I wanted to help people with their businesses, and I'd have people inquire, I would send the information and how much it costs and how long it would take and all this kind of stuff without finding out why they wanted it. And I had tons of people not even respond. So I don't believe in sending them the whole heap load of information from the beginning when you don't have a connection with them.
Mhm.
I think that totally, especially when, there's a substantial amount of money involved, you're going to get shut down. So, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and they can easily ignore you on Facebook.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Bethany.
I know that our businesses are a little, different in what we do, but I highly discourage Facebook for the use of business for my team, like in general. Like I have a page for my business that people can like, and it's for my people that are already my clients and already love me and my product to go to just to communicate with them. I know lots of people that do diet and health programs, and I know the deal. You post a picture of your improvement, somebody likes it, you reach out, you connect, because every time I have liked somebody's picture, I get like oh, hey, I have a weight loss solution I can sell you, which drives me nuts. And I'm like, I was happy for you that you lost weight, right? And I have a friend who is making, $10,000 a month selling a health and weight loss type of item. And he will post the pictures and get the likes, but immediately he gets the phone number. Like, he doesn't do the BS Facebook chatting. It's really, the Facebook is for him, the tool is to get someone's interest, but then he immediately says, hey, I'd love to chat with you, let me get your phone number, or he finds their number from somebody else. I mean, I think that you're right, Michelle, that it's inflated, because I have girls on my team. I made a Facebook post and 7 people booked spas. Okay, whatever. Are they going to hold? I don't think so. Are they going to actually invite people? No. Half the time, it's somebody that's like, oh, I thought you were going to come over and just do a free facial for me. So, maybe they're using it, but maybe ask them how quickly they are then the people that are really having success. Okay, you're using Facebook as a tool. How quickly are you getting people on the phone? Maybe there's a difference between the amount of time that they're doing and what some other people are doing. Yeah. Anybody I know that has success in this business, they don't like to use Facebook. Like any of these businesses, they don't use Facebook, they use their phone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have to say, I have posted on my Creative Success System for 2 years and had nobody really curious about what I did. And when I started reaching out, had some success with people, and almost everybody I work with has given me referrals. It's like, I don't know why I spend time on social media, because that's not where I necessarily find people. I mean, it builds your credibility. If somebody starts I call it Facebook stalking. It's not, they're not doing anything inappropriate or weird, but they like to see you have some credibility and you have a Facebook page that's active and your website looks decent. It just makes it look like you kind of know what you're talking about, but it's not the way that you actually close deals.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just my opinion. The funny thing is, though, Bethany, I have to say, Janae does have some pretty good success at booking parties for her skirts, because it's novel and it's a dress-up thing, and it's
Right.
It's a little bit different. There aren't 16 other skirt things out there like there is technically several other skincare lines.
Right.
So it's a little more novel and new that she does actually have some success with that. But the problem is there's 16,000 other ways to lose weight.
Yeah.
So this one you may have to do different than the way you've done your skirt.
Okay.
So. No, there can be exceptions to the rule, and you're right, novelty, but I know a lot of people that make real money in direct sales, and every single one I've talked to, they're like, I want to barf when people use Facebook for their business, because it doesn't work. I mean, they're adamant that it's not how you make money. You might get their attention on Facebook, but the phone is where you make your money.
Right. You might do contact. I think you contacts, but you won't close deals very often on Facebook if that's where you spend the majority of your time.
Right.
Okay. But I would today we could systematically come up with a couple key questions where it shows how interested you are in them and what a good coach you are. and then move into, you know what, this would be a lot easier to tell you more about the program. Would it be okay if I give you a quick call? What's your phone number? Okay, so we could come up with like these. Tell me what the biggest reason is that made you interested in this when, you know, we very first started message. You know, you can't see them, you know, is there any health concerns that you're hoping that this will fix? How do you feel you'd feel differently? You know, how much weight would you like to lose, or what size would you like to get down to, or how would you like to feel? You know, oh, you know, it sounds like this might be a really good fit. It's a lot easier for me to explain over the phone than just, you know, text all this. How about I give you a call? Mm-hmm. I think you could do that faster than you realize.
Okay. That sounds awesome.
I'm feeling like I need to do this at the end of every single one of our one of our lessons is have a brainstorm session, let everybody help each other thing.
Yeah.
This is kind of fun, actually.
Oh.
Awesome.
Okay. So, put that thing that you talked about today. Write down it positively that you've already come up with a solution. Okay? Write it in the present, write it in the positive, slap it on your wall, come up with other ideas, or have a little system for how you're going to try some of your new ideas, or, you know, keep brainstorming if we haven't come up with one that feels quite right yet. And see how the week goes, overcoming that little challenge or, you know, goal that you have. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, it's 9:10, so I'm going to let you all go and stop the broadcast. Anything I can do for you?
No, that's it. You guys have a good day.
You too.
You too.
All right.
Send your questions in your phone calling sheets, okay?
Okay.
All right. Have a great one. Thanks, ladies. I sure appreciate you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.